Today, we're going to take both kinds of vinyl to create these stickers. Let's make this. My inspiration for this project was seeing this in different people's tutorials or on TikTok and Instagram and things like that. And I thought, well, what a really great way to use up some of your vinyl. And could it be something that you could actually give to people as a sticker rather than having to put it on something? Maybe it's something that they could put on stuff that they've got at home. So I've had a little look. There's not a lot out there for inspiration, but there's heaps of stickers. So I've added a bit of both into this inspiration component. The materials I'm using today are an adhesive vinyl, so it's just from my scrap folder. I've got a scrap folder for my iron-on vinyl, and then we're just using a standard grip mat, so not a lot of materials today at all. We're going to do this whole project in Design Space today, but if you wanted to add images or you wanted to add shapes or things like that, feel free, absolutely. You could even go back to my Donut Give Up jumper design and you could follow that tutorial and use Canva to get some new images for your sticker. But we're just going to do a text-based one today. I'm going to make one that says Honey Neats made this, and I'm going to put it on my Cricut because the top of my Cricut, the little lid, it's got nothing on it at the moment because I cleaned it off a while ago and I haven't thought of anything to add to it. So I'm going to try this project out by just creating something that has my branding on it. So I've just typed Honey Neats to start with, and then I'm going to get the Party Vibes text or the font. That fits with my branding, so I thought I'd do that. And then I'm going to do Honey Neats in the party font, and then I'm just going to put Made This in just some straightforward font. So I'm just going to use Quicksand because that's another one that I use in my branding. So all of my stickers and any of my decals, they've all got similar font choices in them. So I want Honey Neats to actually stretch because I want it to be a tall font. So what I've done is I've clicked on Honey Neats made this, and then I've gone down to combine and I've clicked on unite. Once you've done that, you can actually stretch your text to make it taller. You can make it fatter. So it's a really good way of changing your font without actually going and trying to find the font that matches the way you want it to look, because you might not find a font that's the same as the one you like, but in a taller or a fatter thing. So I've done that and I've stretched it out. And then I've also noticed that Made This is very thin. So I wanted to make it a bit thicker so that it kind of stands out. So I've clicked on it and I've created an offset. And the reason that I've done that is because if you've got a really thin font, it may not, first of all, cut out very well with the vinyl, but also you might want it to stand out a little bit. So you can use an offset and you get rid of the original font and keep the offset as the font you're using. Now, you can't go back and change that font. So if I decided I wanted to, instead of saying made this, I might say I made these or something like that. I can't go back and change the offset. I'd have to create a new text, do that, and then do the offset again. So now what I want to do, so they're going to be the text that I will use the iron-on vinyl for. Honey Neats made this. And then I want to create an offset around the outside of the whole thing that will be my adhesive vinyl. So that's what we're going to iron the iron-on vinyl onto. So I've just created an offset. Now it's a really big offset because I want it to be quite flat around the outside. And I've changed the color. So it's a 0.7 offset that I've ended up with. You can play around with that offset as much as you like. And then I've just changed the color. The reason I've changed the color is because I've got to do it on two separate mats because we're doing an adhesive vinyl and we're also doing an iron-on vinyl. So I've just done a bit of both. And then what you could do is you could unite or even weld if you wanted to, but you could unite or attach the text, the two different types of text together, and that way it would cut as one piece. But I don't want to do that because I want two different colors. So I'm going to do the rainbow Kmart iron-on vinyl for the honey neats, and then I'm just going to do white for the made this. And then I've got a adhesive vinyl behind it, which is going to be like a light blue color. So that's pretty much it. I've saved it. I've gone and I've moved it around, moved the two text components around because I've got two different colors. So I want to separate them. So just as a default, I always go for top and bottom, and then I move other parts around. But I've only got two parts. I've got honey neats at the top, and I've got made this at the bottom. And then I've set that to just everyday iron on. Neither of the ones that I'm using are like a heavy glitter or a heavy metallic or anything like that. So I've just gone everyday iron on. And then for the matte 2, which is just your offset, I've just hit vinyl. Now that I've got everything weeded, it's really just a matter of putting it all together. Now, I have done some research about this and I've seen other people do this. So I'm just going to follow their settings. So I've got my easy press, or my mini press, sorry, and I've got it on the second temperature. So I've got two different colors and I'm just checking to see how they fit so that I've got the made this in the right spot to start with, because I'm going to iron that one down first. And I want to make sure that I've kind of centered it, make sure that I've aligned it. Look, I'm eyeballing this. Absolutely go ahead and measure and be really precise about it. But this is a really big experiment, so I'm pretty okay with just eyeballing it for this stage. So now that I've got it down, I'm going to put some baking paper down over the top of it. The baking paper is smooth, so it doesn't create any ridges or anything in the sticker. And I've just gone over it as if I would if it was fabric. Little less pressure I found that I put down on it. It looks like it's stuck. Let's see. Oh, so see how the sticker's lifting with it? Okay. Oh well, it's stuck down though. That iron-on stuck down really well. The sticker has started lifting, which, I don't know if I like that. I feel like I may have melted it a bit. But it's got a little bit of creasing, but maybe we'll be able to iron that out. All right, let's try honey neats now. So I'll just do the same thing. I'm going to place that over. Now, check to see whether you've got a hot peel or a cold peel on your vinyl. Most of them are either hot or warm, I think. For some reason I thought they were all cold, but they're actually not. I think it's more the other way around. And if you do leave it on there too long, it actually tends to lift it. So particularly if it's a warm peel, do it, or a hot peel, do it as quick as possible. Don't let it sit for too long, otherwise it will come up with the transfer. Oh, this one's going to be a little bit harder. Okay, so I did a little bit less pressure on the honey neats bit, just because I was worried it was going to melt the sticker, and because I've done less pressure, actually I couldn't even tell you why that's happened. I wonder if it's because I've already done one colour to start with. I wonder if I should have just done the one. Oh well, let's see if I can stretch it, because I feel like you should follow all the same principles, right? So I've got iron-on vinyl, so you should go back over it. Oh, I'm not overly excited about this because things haven't stuck down properly. Let's see if I can stretch it to do. But yeah, I feel like you should probably. Oh yeah, I can. Looks like I can do a little bit of stretching. Hang on, what if I take it off and I place it on the baking paper and see if I can stretch it that way? So the baking paper shouldn't stick to the adhesive. That's my theory. Let's see if and And I can't iron over straight onto it because I'll lift it. So I'm just going to fold that down and just do a really quick run over it with my easy press. Ooh, maybe I've done it. I don't know if I love this process though. I wonder if I've picked the right vinyls. Because the one I saw, which was from Maker's Gonna Learn, theirs looked just like perfect. And that they could just hand this sticker over to anyone and they would be able to use that for their own project. So let's see if I can place it down on my Cricut. It's peeled off that baking paper quite easily. Just grabbing that felt. It actually doesn't look too bad. I was skeptical. It's actually really worked. Look, I love the colours, obviously. I think the blue maybe is probably wasn't the best choice. I think I probably should have chosen a black background, but I didn't have any black in my scrap at the moment. So, and I didn't want to open a new roll just for a project. But, yeah. So, bit of bubbling. So the thing I didn't do, which probably, if anyone's done it, let me know, but I didn't use, first of all, I didn't use the wet method. I'm not putting water on my Cricut. I'm not a maniac. But the other thing I didn't do was put the transfer tape over the top, mainly because I didn't think of it. I didn't think of it until I've gotten to this point, and then I've thought, oh, maybe I should have done that. But I didn't. I'm also concerned that if I do use, you can see that I'm just using my weeding pen to get rid of any of the bubbles. But I was worried if I put the transfer tape down that I actually might lift it. But I don't know. I do like it though. I think it's a cool idea. I actually do like it. I think this is something that is, if you do some practice and you really worked on your temperatures and your time settings, that you could really do a really good job of this. And I also think that maybe the vinyl I've chosen wasn't the best. So it was that Caesar vinyl that I've talked about before that isn't great to weed. It's just the adhesive vinyl. I love, obviously I've said this 1,000 times before, but I love their iron-on vinyl, but their adhesive vinyl isn't as good. The quality of it isn't as thick. So I think maybe if I got a thicker adhesive vinyl, maybe that would work. So if anyone has any answers to that, let us know in the comments below. Great project if you're starting out in terms of using Design Space, because it's just a couple of different steps. But probably it's something that you need to be familiar with your machines in terms of the heating and things like that, and also vinyls, because like I said, I've been playing around with my Cricut for a couple of years now, and still this has actually thrown me a bit. So, but if you've got scrap vinyl, have a play. You may as well use it up, because there's no point in just keeping it in a folder or in a box and looking at it every week and going, oh, I should use that. Now might be your chance. Hope you've enjoyed this week's tutorial, and I can't wait to see you next week for a new market vlog. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget, you can always jump on my Instagram, head over to my Etsy store, or even check out the videos YouTube recommends for you down below.